Hi students, today's lesson is for all skill level from beginner to advanced. We're going to draw Jelly from Breadwinner. He's very cute and simple, but you can make it more advanced by adding either more characters or a complicated background. Have fun! Okay, so the orange will be my guidelines, and then the black is my final lines. So if you have a pencil, the orange means draw lightly, and then the black will be our final lines that we want. So Jelly is pretty simple, but I still want to draw my shape so all my proportions are correct. So I'm going to start with half a circle for his body. And then I'm going to do the straight lines for his legs. And then there's 3 simple little feet, and they just kind of curl around. And then at the bottom, it goes pretty straight, but I'm gonna stop here because we have some overlap with his little front legs. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna get this side and stop. And then kind of in the center, I'm gonna draw a guideline for myself, get that center line. And then I know we have some arms on either side. I'm gonna get this connecting line. All right, and then his eyes are a little bit over. They're not quite in the center, so then I'm gonna draw the ovals overlapping here, and then his mouth is off to the side here. So now that I have everything kind of placed, I can go in with the black and I can do my final line. So now you can see here, these lines I can erase, these I can erase, and everything's in the right spot. So now I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna do my solid lines and get those details in. So let's start with this eye, because this eye is in the front. I'm gonna come around, and then there's a little part of that side there. You don't see that on this eye. Okay, good. And then we're coming around. I'm stopping since this is in front. And then continuing that line. So if I didn't have this guideline, I might accidentally put this line up here, and then it would mean that this line kind of jumped up, and we don't want that. It's a common mistake that you see when artists go straight into the details. The lines aren't matching up, and it looks a little bit funny. Okay, and then connect this. And then he has a little tail right here, so I'm gonna add that little tail. And then the tongue's hanging out, and the tongue comes from back here and goes forward. So I'm gonna get that tongue, and then get the final part of the mouth here. And the eyeballs, which really make it come to life and give him all that personality that he has. So I'm gonna add these here, and then he has a little bit of white, so I'm gonna mark it so I don't fill it in. And then go in here, fill it in. And here he comes. All that sweet personality coming through. And then there's some dots. Now if you want to color, if you have some markers or crayons at home and you want to color, he has these 3 little spots right here that are a darker green. But if you're just keeping it black and white, you can come in and just kind of add those. And then of course, if you'd like to play on the element of space, a lot of beginning artists would put a horizon line right here where he's sitting, right there. And the horizon line is where the sky and earth meet. So at no time do you see a character sitting right where the sky and earth meet. It's often behind them. So I'm gonna just kind of lightly come in here and do some hills. I'm kind of drawing through even though I'm not pressing down, right? So now we have an interesting background. And then look at the Google Slides to check out a reminder of our element of design, space. So creating that illusion of space, we want some overlapping. You can do perspective. So remember, on our horizon line, you can have a vanishing point, right? So let's say I put my vanishing point here. What if I want to have some toast in my background? I want a top guideline and a bottom guideline, and I can start coming in, adding toast here. Or bread, right? Because it's breadwinners. So you can see the toast. So I used it in orange. So now I'll come in here because I don't need to draw my horizon line. They're just guidelines, right? So all this toast going back into the background, and there's overlap and perspective. They're getting smaller, so size, and then there's more detail in the one closer, and then less detail as it gets further back, right? Okay. So have fun with your background, have fun with your color, and here we go, jelly. Now that you've drawn jelly, you can go back in and add value. If you have a pencil, use your value chart and add your color based on the values. So if he's green, then you would look at the value chart and probably do around a 5 to fill it in, and then do a 6 or 7 for those spots. So here's a quick example of what it would look like in black and white. And that is the value scale you would use. And of course, if you have color, add your color, have fun, use watercolor, use crayons, use marker. And then of course, I'd like to see what you created. Post it in classwork in the Google Classroom. Please don't put it in the stream unless you're showing off and you want to show your friends what you did, which is fine. But for me to grade it, please post it under classwork in the Google Classroom.